Welcome viewers to Teacher Yonga YouTube channel, whose theme is to show that learning is not only confined inside the four walls. And today's lessons, we are going to look at the science of water. So follow me and as we go and look how water is related with our lives.
I was hanging with you and then I realized I didn't think it was true. I was surprised when I found out I'd fallen for you. I didn't want to believe my feelings for you. I didn't want to believe that I could lose you if I told you just how I felt.
So as I told you today, we are looking at the science of water. Water is one of the most amazing things of earth, which exists in earth. Without it, there will be no life. Actually, water has different uses. We have domestic use. We use it for cooking, we use it for washing our clothes. It also has industrial use, and one of the industrial uses is for mixing chemicals, and also it has a recreational use. That's why actually today's lesson we're shooting out, which our background is a swimming pool. One of the recreational use of water is swimming pool. Let's look at the physical properties of water. First is water is a colorless gas. It's a colorless liquid. And if you can see clearly, the swimming pool might be looking blue, but that's not the actual color of water. The color, it appears blue because it's reflecting the sky. The color of the sky is the one which is being reflected on water. So the color of water is colorless. Also, it has a pH of 7. It has a pH of 7, meaning it's a neutral liquid or a neutral substance. Also, another property, it has a boiling point of 100 degrees and a melting point of 0 degrees Celsius. We also refer to water as a universal solvent. Why do we refer to water as a universal solvent? Because water, most of the substances are usually soluble in water. So we always say that water is a universal solvent. What's the chemical formula of water? The chemical formula of water is H2O, meaning one molecule of water, it's usually formed by when two hydrogen atoms are bonded to one oxygen atom. And that type of bonding is referred to as covalent bonding. Another amazing thing about water, it occupies 70% of the Earth's surface. And also it occupies 70% of our body. 70% of our body is water, and 70% of Earth is water. So that's also water is a truly amazing, one of the truly amazing thing about water, it can never get used up. Usually water can be recycled over and over again. And that process, we usually refer to it as the water cycle. How does it happen? Water exists in oceans, lakes, rivers. So when it is sunny, usually the heat from the sun will hit the water, then the water turns into vapor. When it turns into vapor, it rises up, forms the clouds, then after some time, that water will condense. That vapor, which was in form of clouds, condenses and then comes back in form of rain. So there's that cycle. Water will never get used up. Usually, from that we can learn the processes. Those processes which water undergoes. It undergoes freezing. When it undergoes freezing, it means it has turned from liquid state to solid state. It can also undergo evaporation. When it undergoes evaporation, it has turned from liquid state to vapor state. And also it can undergo condensation. Condensation now, it turns from gaseous state to liquid state. So carry on and we learn more about water, which is something which is very important in our life. Also now we know that water exists in 3 states. When it is solid, we call it ice. When it's liquid, that's when we are calling it water. And when it's gaseous, we call it vapor. When it's gaseous, we call it vapor. There are 2 properties that water has. There's one which we refer to as the anomalous expansion of water. Anomalous. The word anomalous means unusual. What do we mean by this unusual expansion of water? Usually we know that any substance, when it's heated, it's supposed to expand. Any substance, when you heat it, is supposed to expand. But water behaves differently. When you heat water from a temperature of 0 degrees to 4 degrees, Instead of the water expanding, it contracts. Now the water contracts. So that's why we say the unusual expansion of water. When it, let me restructure it. When you cool the water, it's supposed to contract. When you heat something, it's supposed to expand. But now when we cool water, instead of it contracting, it usually expands. That's why when you go to temperate countries or winter countries like European countries, usually you'll find that the snow, they have the ice. The ice covers the surface. And when the ice covers the surface, down there, it will be in liquid form. So that shows that water can exist in solid state and in liquid state at the same temperature. The top part will be in solid state as it freezes, then the lower part will be in liquid state. That's why even in winter countries, those sea creatures like fish are able to survive during even winters, because below, on top it is ice, but below the water is in liquid form. So in physics, we refer to it as the anomalous expansion of water. And it has an advantage, because now at least sea creatures can survive even when the temperature, when it is in winter or when we are in the season of winter. Another property of water, you have seen that there's some insects which usually can float on water. There's some insects which can float on water. And why are they able to float on water? Because water has a property which we refer to as surface tension. What is surface tension? Surface tension is a type of force. What it does, it makes the surface of water to look like an elastic skin. So that if the weight of the object or the substance cannot break the surface tension, then that substance will be able to float on water. Actually, theoretically, even human beings can float on water. But what you have to do is you have to make sure, you have to spread your legs so that your weight is distributed among that surface, so that your weight cannot overwhelm the surface tension. So I hope students, those insights have helped you to know something, two or three things about water. One thing we can also add about water: what's the physical test of water? What's the physical test of water? So if you want to know the physical test of water, boil the water and measure its boiling point. If the water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, if a liquid boils at 100 degrees Celsius, automatically that liquid will be classified as water. Water also has a chemical test, and if you want to test if if a liquid is water, the chemical test you use, you take anhydrous copper 2 sulfate. When you take anhydrous copper 2 sulfate, when you add water to anhydrous copper 2 sulfate, it's supposed to turn from white to blue. If the anhydrous copper 2 sulfate turns from white to blue, automatically the liquid will be classified as water. If you don't have anhydrous copper 2 sulfate, you can always use anhydrous cobalt 2 chloride. But now for cobalt 2 chloride, it's supposed to turn from blue to pink. When it's anhydrous, it's blue. When you add water, it turns to pink. So today's lesson has shown us the importance of water and what is involved in water. And we are going to wind it up by seeing the recreational use of water, and which we will be swimming, which usually is most obvious to most of the students out there and also the viewers. And I hope you subscribe to Teacher Yonga YouTube channel for more lessons which will be exciting. And we have said that learning is not only confined inside the four walls, anywhere learning can take place.
I was hanging with you and then I realized I didn't think it was true.
Like, share and subscribe to Teacher Yonga channel for more entertaining lessons.
I didn't want to believe my feelings for you. I didn't want to believe that I could lose you. If I told you just how I felt for you.